What's up guys, Mikkel here, and today I want to get into XRP. Currently I believe XRP is one of the best cryptocurrency investments available, and in this video I really want to get into why. Guys, recently you've really been blowing up this channel. Make sure to keep subscribing and liking the videos. It really helps me out so much and will help me in the future be able to put out more content like this. So keep subscribing and liking the videos, and I really appreciate all of it. Anyway guys, let's jump into this video. And to start, I want to do a quick description of what Ripple and XRP are trying to do. So essentially the biggest problem right now that XRP is trying to solve is that the modern day financial system is extremely dated. It's really run on 1970s, 1980s technology, and in the age of the internet, there's been tons of advancements that the internet has been able to disrupt, but has really yet to make its way into the financial system. What blockchains and cryptocurrencies really are a native form of finance for the internet, and in my opinion will disrupt legacy finance in the years to come. What Ripple and XRP are trying to do are essentially bring traditional finance into the new age of the internet by allowing them to leverage the XRP blockchain and essentially create a network where value can flow like information does on the internet. And I want you guys to hear what I just said, essentially from the CTO of Ripple, David Schwartz. He was actually one of the original people who worked on the Bitcoin code and essentially has the patent for a distributed computer. Also worked for the NSA. He really is a genius, and I think one of the most important people to listen to in the cryptocurrency space, because he's really an OG.
My name is David Schwartz. I'm CTO of Ripple, co-creator of the XRP Ledger. Been working on Bitcoin, XRP Ledger, and blockchain technologies for about a decade now. Ripple, the company I work for, has over 500 employees in 9 global offices. We describe our vision as enabling the world to move value like information moves today, or the Internet of Value. If you think about moving money versus moving information, like comparing an international payment to email, the differences are quite stark. Email has a universal namespace, so I can just ask you your email address. I don't have to care what email provider you use or what APIs or what technology you use to access it. Moving money is just the opposite. Do you have Venmo? No, I have PayPal. PayPal doesn't work in my country. Do you have Zelle? What's Zelle? I don't know. That human effort to make a payment is just, it's got to go. So what we're looking for is the Internet of Value, where payment is as seamless and as nice as an experience as sending information. We describe our mission, sort of what we're working on every day, as enabling payments everywhere, every way, for everyone. So just taking that pain out of getting money to move from one place to another.
So I think that was a pretty clear way to put it. In the current financial system, we as the average retail investor don't notice it as much, but moving money is a very high friction event. There's a ton of middlemen that take a ton of fees out of each transfer that we make, and really what Ripple's trying to do is create a seamless, well, they already have, but the XRP ledger is a seamless way to transfer value from one person to another. And what Ripple is trying to do is create a software essentially to help banks integrate their current platforms into the Ripple network. So I think a very important thing to understand is Ripple doesn't want to be like a Venmo or a Zelle or something like that. What XRP really is really like the plumbing. XRP is an open source platform, so essentially any single money transmitter or bank can plug right into it and start leveraging the XRP ledger. What this means is that rather than XRP disrupting something like a Venmo or PayPal, what XRP really wants to do is have companies like PayPal, Venmo, Bank of America integrate themselves into the XRP ledger and really build on top of that. That's why I think of XRP really as the plumbing and not really as its own application. What the overall goal is for companies to utilize the XRP ledger and plug into it, and that way it essentially just creates a central middle ground that anybody can plug into and receive universal payments from one person to another. Typically right now, if PayPal wanted to be able to directly send, say, a payment to my Bank of America account, there'd have to be a ton of software integrations on the back end. The companies would probably have to take weeks and weeks of going through code and data and able to make it work. What the XRP ledger offers, because it's decentralized and open source, is that both of those two companies could plug in directly to the XRP ledger and then instantly be linked to one another. The great thing about this is this then allows, say, another company, say Citibank, to plug into that, and say Citibank wanted to only connect to Bank of America, but then just by plugging into the XRP ledger, they would also automatically be plugged into every other person already on the XRP ledger. This is a massive network effect, and that's why XRP really is the plumbing. It's not looking to build on, it's looking to be the underlying solution for the traditional financial system. Currently, there's no other thing like this in the current financial system, so I really think there's a massive play to be made here with XRP. And what Ripple is trying to do is essentially facilitate this. For a lot of people, this is a massive gap. It's hard to understand. Banks are typically very conservative, so what Ripple is trying to do is essentially help overall adoption of the XRP ledger. It's more complex than that, but just to keep it simple, mainly that's what they're trying to do. I wanted to show you this GIF because it's kind of cool. This is really what XRP is trying to do. XRP is looked at as essentially a bridge currency. So if you wanted to send your PayPal dollars to say another PayPal account in China, and you want to do it over the XRP ledger, you can kind of think about it like this. Essentially, it goes in one end and comes out the other. But say you wanted to send money in your Venmo account to your dad's bank account in Russia, it's the same idea. The idea is that nothing on each side really matters. As long as it's plugged into the XRP ledger, then essentially the money will be able to flow, or the value will be able to throw directly through it, and it doesn't matter what you're putting in on either side, because the XRP ledger is currency agnostic, and therefore value can be sent anywhere in the world in any form to anyone. And that's why it is essentially the perfect plumbing for a new financial system. XRP is really, in all senses, a liquidity token. It's really meant to capture all the value in the world today and essentially create a seamless way to transfer it. There's all kinds of different cryptocurrencies out there, but XRP is really unique in the scope of what it's looking to do. One thing I want to point out, let's get into this first. Another thing XRP is really trying to disrupt is Nostro and Vostro accounts, and I'll explain this in a minute. What a Nostro and Vostro account is essentially it's a bank that are positioned in different places all over the world that holds large stacks of money, as you see right here. In the current financial system, these are pretty much required because there's no way to transfer value in the world instantaneously. So rather, banks will set up different repositories of money all over the world. So that way, rather than having to transfer money that might take 4 or 5 days to different points in the world, they can just already have a bank set up there and take the money from there. The problem with that is you have to tie up massive amount of capital, essentially just sitting in these banks doing absolutely nothing. What XRP does is allows the value to be transferred instantaneously, so it drains these Nostro and Vostro accounts. If you can send money anywhere in the world instantly, then there's no point in holding it in these different places. This frees up a ton of capital all over the world and allows companies to create more liquid money and not have as much money tied up doing nothing, or essentially as an insurance policy. For those of you who don't know, this is a large reason why the financial crisis occurred, because the velocity of money was so slow they weren't able to move money fast enough where they wanted it to be. XRP allows money to be transferred instantly, or value instantly, all over the world, so therefore you don't need these Nostro and Vostro accounts all over. Rather, you can have these countries, and I'll point this out in the next time it goes to this GIF. So the Nostro and Vostro account is drained because now the value can be transferred directly to one another rather than having to have these separate bank entities all over the world. Now I really want to get into this other part, since we kind of got through the technology. You can have the best technology in the world, but you need people to be adopting it. The very cool thing about XRP is honestly Ripple. What Ripple is working with some of the biggest institutions in the entire world to adopt the XRP ledger, and they're working with some of the smartest people in the entire world. I'm going to get into this, but it really shows that XRP is a lot farther along than a lot of people give it credit for. In my opinion, it's pretty much 5 to 10 years away from being one of the most important features of the financial system. And I'll show you how many people are currently already using it. So right here we have a list of the top 100 banks in the world, and we're just going to take a look at how many are already Ripple customers. And currently Ripple is essentially some people look at it as a startup. I mean, it's really a giant, but no one knows about Ripple, so the amount of banks already incorporated is really insane. The top 4 banks in the world are all Chinese banks. Who knows what they're doing, so you can kind of take these with a grain of salt. Automatically, at essentially ignoring the Chinese banks, we're at one of the biggest banks in the world, Mitsubishi Financial Group, Ripple partner, HSBC. Oh, I didn't mean to click on that. HSBC, Ripple partner, Bank of America, Ripple partner. One of the biggest banks in France, another massive bank in Japan, another Japan bank, one of the biggest, Santander, big bank in Spain, Barclays, one of the biggest banks in Canada, another massive bank in Canada, Union Credit. I've seen patents literally where Goldman Sachs outlined using Ripple. If we keep scrolling down, you can just see there's a massive amount of banks already in the Ripple ecosystem, and Ripple currently has a ton of NDAs where they don't disclose companies they're working with. A lot of that probably has to do with the current SEC lawsuit. So there's probably a lot more banks, even other than this, that are already partnered with Ripple. These are also only banks. There's a ton of technology companies, and I'll even show you this real quick rather than waiting. Even Amazon has a web page where they go through the use cases of Ripple, their partners, and talks all about Ripple. Ripple is really behemoth, and they're essentially a lot of these companies, because Ripple is going to be, XRP is going to be the plumbing for the new financial system. A lot of these companies don't really get much out of showing their hand that they're already partnered with them. They're really trying to keep it down low. But one of the most interesting part is once you only have a couple of these massive financial institutions using the XRP ledger, then everyone else is going to be forced to follow, because it's a way more efficient way of doing payments, as we went over earlier. And the more that jump on board, others will have to follow, because if they don't, they'll start falling behind in terms of the speed they can move money for how cheap they're doing it. And honestly, just to do business with a lot of these big guys, they might even say, if you're not going to use the XRP ledger, we're not going to work with you. So essentially, the more people on the network, the stronger the network effect gets, and the more other people are going to be forced to get into it. The last thing I want to get into here is the people working on Ripple, and I think this is pretty interesting, because if you look at my channel, I also invest in a lot of stocks, and I'm invested in some pretty big companies, $50, $100 billion companies, and you just never see the caliber of people on any company I ever look at than you see at Ripple. And I think this is pretty interesting, because Ripple is only a $10 billion company that a lot of people look at as a speculative tech startup. But then you look at what they're doing, who they're partnered with, and where they're looking, who they're working with, and you're like, wow, this might be a little more than meets the eye. And let me show you why. They recently just brought Rosie Rios in. She was the 43rd treasurer of the United States. Her name is probably 80% of the money in circulation right now. When she left the treasurer of the United States, she said her goal was to work on new forms of money and bring the United States into a digital age. Later, she ended up joining Ripple, so I think that's pretty telling for what she thinks the new money in the world is going to be. And this is coming from someone who literally issued massive amounts of the US dollar inside the United States. I don't know why the 43rd treasurer of the United States would be joining a tech startup that wouldn't be a massive player in the future. The next person I want to show you is Brooke Entwistle. If we look at Brooke Entwistle's resume, he was an analyst at Goldman Sachs, continued to work there for 20 years, then was a senior executive at Uber, and now is working at Ripple. This is just a high quality person who is you wouldn't normally expect to find at a small company like Ripple. We'll jump to the next one. I like this one a lot because I like this one too. I didn't point this out. I like seeing these tech company connections because we saw the banks, but a famous quote by some Uber and Amazon executives were saying that what Uber and Amazon, one of the most annoying things they have to deal with is payments because of the friction in the payment system. Essentially, they would love to have a system like Ripple in place because what Uber and Amazon don't want to be doing is focusing on payments. Payments is such a hard industry to focus on, and they're already tackling such massive things. The last thing they can focus on is disrupting the payment system. So what they need is a solution like Ripple, as we talked like earlier, that say Uber and Amazon could directly link to, and then they could send money directly to each other without any infrastructure done on the back ends for either of them. If we look right here, here's another guy who just recently went to Ripple, and he was a senior software developer at Amazon, also worked at Microsoft, Amazon again. Guys, these people are very high up on these companies, and I'm sure that this is all strategic when they're being sent over to Ripple. It's all, a lot of these higher up boards, they move around and partnerships link after they go to different places. Here's another guy, Craig Phillips. He's a pretty crazy guy. BlackRock, the U.S. Department of the Treasury, Morgan Stanley. I mean, guys, these are like pretty massive people. I mean, this guy worked at BlackRock for 9 years, and I'm pretty sure he managed over I think it was a fourth of the world's assets at one point. Like, the caliber of people working with Ripple is insane, and I just think that goes to show that it's really not as speculative as people make it sound. It's really only speculative because a lot of this information is really being hidden from most investors, and yeah, I think Ripple's a lot farther on than a lot of people like to believe. And I think we're really going to see a lot of that come out once the XRP the Ripple lawsuit's over. The last thing I want to get into is the XRP price. A lot of people, for some reason, exchanges cut off this part of the chart. XRP hit the market at about half a penny, around there. Now it's trading at about $1, give or take. Ripple is yet to hit XRP is yet to hit its all-time highs. I do expect it will at least go to $10 at some point over the next 2 years. Almost every other high-cap cryptocurrency have passed their all-time highs, and in my opinion, XRP kind of blows them all out of the water in its tech. I would not be surprised to see it trading at $10 and even above then. And the main reason why I think it's such a great investment is it's really only a third of the way to its all-time highs, while many other cryptocurrencies have blown way past our all-time highs. On top of that, for all the things we went over earlier, I really think XRP is superior to most of the other projects in most ways. Yeah, so I just see a lot of potential still in XRP, and a lot of that has to do with the Ripple lawsuit, so there is some additional risk. But from everything I've seen, that lawsuit is nothing more than either a move to give XRP clarity, or just a political theater job, but that's for a different video. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's pretty long, but if you stuck around for this entire thing, you're a G. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I hope you like it, but for now, Mikkel out.